Hello, my friends. Have you ever shared a small worry with your children, hoping for just a little comfort, only to watch it explode into a five-alarm fire of panic and unsolicited advice? You thought you were just sharing a part of your day. A simple, honest moment. But what if I told you that this very act of sharing, something you've done your whole life, could actually be the thing that starts to unravel a lifetime of respect? What if it's the first step towards your kids seeing you not as the wise, capable parent they've always known, but as someone who needs to be managed? It's a terrifying thought. And it's not just a feeling. According to research on family dynamics in later life, this simple misstep is happening in over 60% of families, often with devastating consequences to a parent's sense of autonomy. This is why, as a doctor who has had a front row seat to hundreds of family stories, I'm going to tell you something that might sound shocking. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for your family is to keep a secret. This isn't theory. Let me tell you about John, a 72-year-old retired history teacher from Pennsylvania. A wonderful man. He casually mentioned to his son that his stock portfolio had taken a bit of a hit. Within 48 hours, his son was at his door, spreadsheet in hand, wanting to take over his finances. John felt like he had lost his independence overnight. He told me later, with tears in his eyes, "I truly regret saying such things. I feel like I've become a burden." John's story is preventable. In this video, we will walk through the 5 specific topics you should handle with care to protect both your independence and your family's peace of mind. And please, make sure you stay until the end. The 5th secret is the one most people think is harmless, but it's the one that silently causes the most heartache. Understanding it could be the key to preserving your dignity. Everything we'll discuss is based on decades of clinical practice and geriatric psychology, designed to empower you. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of you have faced this. If what I just shared about John feels familiar, please comment a simple yes below. It shows me you understand, and it shows others they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, let's begin with the first secret to hold close. Secret number 1. Detailed financial worries. This is perhaps the most common trap we fall into, and it starts so innocently. The stock market dips $500, and you pick up the phone to vent to your son. You get a quote to fix the roof, and the number makes your stomach churn, so you share the detailed worry with your daughter. You're not asking for a handout. You're simply looking for a bit of connection, a sympathetic ear, a moment of shared experience over life's little anxieties. For you, it's like letting a little steam out of a kettle. But here is the truth I have seen play out in my office time and time again. For your adult children, it is not a kettle. It is a fire alarm. Their brains are biologically wired to protect their parents. When they hear financial distress, it doesn't trigger empathy as much as it triggers their primal fight or flight response. Their stress hormone, cortisol, spikes. They don't hear a request for comfort. They hear a problem that they are now obligated to solve. The core reason for this disconnect is a generational shift. As we get older, we often find connection by sharing the textures of our daily lives, the ups and the downs. But our children's generation is largely programmed for action. They live in a world of to-do lists and problem solving. So when you share a worry, they immediately switch into fix-it mode. Suddenly, you start hearing those well-meaning, but frankly, invasive questions. Dad, do you really need that cable package? Mom, maybe it's time we talked about selling the house. Before you know it, they're asking to help you with your bank statements. They see it as being responsible. You feel it as a slow erosion of your independence, a chipping away at your role as the capable head of the family. I remember my patient, Martha, a lovely woman, a retired librarian from Ohio who had managed her own modest finances impeccably for 50 years. One day, she casually mentioned to her daughter that her prescription copays had gone up by $80 a month. Just a simple complaint. Her daughter, a successful accountant with the best of intentions, drove down that weekend. She spent 2 days at Martha's kitchen table, creating a new, optimized budget. The result? Martha's beloved gardening magazine subscription was cut. Her weekly coffee with friends was deemed a non-essential expense. Martha didn't feel helped. She felt managed. She felt like her life's small joys were being audited, and she was left feeling diminished and disrespected. So I urge you, stop using your children as a sounding board for every financial tremor. The solution isn't silence. It's strategy. It's about replacing daily anxiety venting with a single, planned, and reassuring conversation. At a calm moment, you can say something like this: "Kids, I want you to know that I have a plan. My finances are in order, and I have things arranged for the future. If a major issue ever comes up where I need your help, I promise I will let you know. For now, I need you to trust that I have it handled." You are not presenting a problem to be solved. You are presenting a plan to be respected. If you believe in financial independence at every age, please take a moment to comment independence below. It's a powerful statement. Now, for the second secret, which is just as important. Secret number 2. Minor or undiagnosed health scares. This one is driven by pure instinct. You feel a strange new ache in your side. Your doctor orders an MRI, and your mind immediately jumps to the worst-case scenario. The first thing you want to do is call your family for support. You say, "I have this strange pain, and I don't know what it is," or "They're doing a scan, I'm sure it's something terrible." You are looking for reassurance in a moment of fear. But the human brain has what psychologists call a negativity bias. It's an ancient survival mechanism designed to keep us safe by assuming the worst. When you present your children with a medical mystery, a problem with no answers, their minds don't go to the best-case scenario. They fill in the blanks with the most terrifying possibilities. Your undefined ache becomes a life-threatening illness in their imagination. This is especially true as our bodies age. The reality is, our bodies create more noise in our later years. Aches, pains, stiffness. These are often just the normal creaks of a well-lived life. For you, it's a daily reality. For your children, who are not living in your body, each new complaint can sound like a major alarm bell, a prelude to the decline they fear for you. The symptoms of this oversharing are immediate. You get frantic phone calls at all hours. They spend nights scrolling through medical websites, becoming armchair experts on diseases you don't have. They start treating you like you're made of glass, hovering over you, questioning every little thing you do. Your strength and resilience are replaced by their anxiety, and it can be suffocating. I had a patient, Bill, a vibrant 75-year-old who hiked every weekend. He mentioned to his daughter that he'd had a persistent cough. He was planning to see me the following week. But his daughter, consumed by worry, convinced him he needed to go to the emergency room right then and there. After 6 hours of waiting and a battery of tests, he was sent home with a $1,200 hospital bill and a diagnosis of mild bronchitis. His daughter's fear cost him time, money, and a great deal of emotional energy. The solution is to adopt what I call the wait and inform rule. It is simple. Wait until you have actual information from your doctor. Once you have a fact, a real diagnosis, and a plan, then you call your family. You present the entire package at once. The problem and the solution. For instance, "I just wanted to let you know, I saw the doctor about my knee. It turns out I have a bit of arthritis. The plan is to start some physical therapy next week. It's all under control, and there's nothing to worry about." Do you see the difference? You are sharing information, not fear. You are projecting calm and competence, reinforcing their image of you as a person who is in control of their own health. This is a big one. If you understand the importance of sharing facts, not fear, just type facts, not fear in the comments. This next one can be tricky, but it's vital for family harmony. Secret number 3, frustrations with their spouse, your son or daughter-in-law. You're at a family dinner, and you notice your son-in-law never helps clear the table. Or you feel your daughter-in-law spends money a little too freely. Later, you pick up the phone and vent to your daughter, "He's so lazy, you do everything around here." Or you complain to your son, "I just don't understand her spending habits." In your mind, you are siding with your child. You are being their confidant, their ally. You think you are strengthening your bond with them by creating a little us-against-them alliance. However, what you are actually doing is placing your child in a painful and impossible position known as a loyalty bind. You are forcing them to stand in the middle of a battlefield, with the two people they love most in the world, their parent and their spouse, on opposite sides. Every word of criticism you speak forces them to implicitly choose a side. Defending their spouse feels like betraying you. Agreeing with you feels like betraying their spouse. It is a no-win situation that creates immense stress and resentment. The root of this often comes from our own generational experiences. We have deeply ingrained ideas about what a marriage should look like, about roles and responsibilities. When we see our children's partnerships operating differently, it can feel jarring, even wrong. We might feel a duty to point it out, to guide them. But our guidance, when framed as criticism of their chosen partner, is almost always received as an attack. The result? Your child starts to withdraw. They might stop answering your calls as frequently. They become defensive. Family gatherings become tense and awkward, thick with unspoken resentments. You, in an attempt to get closer to your child, have inadvertently pushed them away and damaged the fabric of their own family. I had a patient, Carol, a very well-intentioned mother. She complained to her son that his wife was always on her phone during family visits. Carol felt ignored. Her comment led to a huge argument between her son and his wife later that evening. The next day, her son called her, his voice heavy with exhaustion, and said the words that no parent wants to hear. "Mom, please. Don't put me in the middle. She's my wife, and I love her. I need you to respect that." Carol's heart broke because she finally understood that her attempt to connect had become a source of division. The solution here is a golden rule. If you cannot say it kindly and constructively directly to your son-in-law or daughter-in-law, do not say it to your child. Your frustrations, even if valid, are not your child's burden to carry. Find a trusted friend, a peer, someone from your own generation who understands your perspective. Vent to them. For your children, your role is to be a source of support for their marriage, not a wedge within it. So please, stop sowing seeds of discord. Start cultivating peace. For the sake of peace at the dinner table, just comment unity below. This fourth secret is a deep one. It requires us to look inward. Secret number 4. Lingering regrets from your own past. As we enter our later years, there's a natural, psychological pull to review our lives. It's a process of making peace with our past, of tidying up the emotional house. In this process, you might feel a powerful urge for catharsis, for release. You decide it's finally time to confess a long-held secret, a major mistake you made, a business deal that went sour, a past affair, a family secret you've held for decades. You hope that by sharing this burden, you will be unburdened. You are seeking forgiveness and understanding from the people who matter most. But you must understand this. Your children have spent their entire lives building their world upon a certain foundation. And you are a cornerstone of that foundation. When you reveal information that fundamentally changes who they thought you were, it doesn't just change your past in their eyes. It can destabilize their entire history. It triggers a profound psychological discomfort called cognitive dissonance. Suddenly, the story of their own life feels different. Their memories can feel tainted. It forces them to reevaluate everything. This desire for resolution is a healthy part of aging, what the psychologist Erik Erikson called the search for integrity. But what feels like a release for you can become a heavy, confusing burden for them. They are often not equipped to process it. The reaction isn't always the absolution you were hoping for. Instead, it can be confusion, hurt, or even anger. They might start asking painful questions that you can't answer. Questions like, if Dad did that, was our whole family life a lie? Or, how could Mom keep that from us? Your past pain, which you have had decades to process, becomes their present-day wound. I will never forget a gentleman I treated, a man in his late 70s. He decided to confess to his 45-year-old daughter that he'd had a brief affair 20 years prior, while her mother was still alive. He thought enough time had passed. He thought he was clearing the air. But for his daughter, the wound was brand new. The revelation didn't heal anything. Instead, it stained her cherished memories of her deceased mother. It created a chasm of distrust between her and the father she had always adored. His confession did not bring him peace. It brought his daughter pain and shattered a relationship. Your healing is profoundly important, but it should not come at the cost of your children's emotional well-being. There are safe places for these stories. A therapist, a spiritual advisor, like a pastor or a rabbi, or a truly discreet and trusted friend. These people are equipped to help you navigate these complex emotions without inadvertently wounding your family. So please, seek healing, not just confession. Seek resolution, not just release. This is a deep one. If you believe some stories are for healing with a professional, not for burdening family, comment wisdom. And now, for the fifth and final secret. This one is the most subtle, and in my experience, the most dangerous. Secret number 5. The full, unfiltered extent of your loneliness. Let me be very clear. This is not about saying, "I miss you." That is a beautiful, loving thing to say. This is about the constant, unfiltered reporting of a lonely existence. It's the daily sighs over the phone. The sentences that drip with accusation. The phone never rings. Nobody ever comes to visit. I just sit in this chair all day and stare at the walls. You are sharing a real and painful feeling. But the way you are sharing it makes all the difference in the world. From a psychological standpoint, these statements do not activate empathy in your children. They activate guilt. And guilt, my friends, is a terrible motivator for human connection. It turns a phone call or a visit into a chore, an obligation, a box to be checked off a to-do list to alleviate their own discomfort. Love, true connection, thrives on joy and desire. It withers under the weight of obligation. When your children call you out of guilt, they are not truly present. The need to connect is one of our most fundamental human needs, and loneliness is a true and painful epidemic among older adults. Your feelings are valid, but we often forget that the way we ask for connection determines the quality of the connection we receive. When you constantly report your loneliness, you are creating a problem that your busy, stressed-out adult children feel powerless to solve. They can't quit their jobs and move in with you. They can't be there every single day. Their powerlessness and guilt can curdle into resentment, or worse, into a misguided need to fix the problem in a way that further strips you of your agency. This is when they start suggesting things you don't want. They might look into assisted living facilities or suggest hiring a companion. They are trying to solve the problem of your loneliness, and your life becomes that problem. I think of my patient Brenda, a widow who was deeply lonely. She told her children constantly how empty her house felt. Feeling guilty and overwhelmed, they pooled their money and hired a home care aide to visit her 3 times a week. Brenda was devastated. She hated it. She felt like she was being treated like a child, like a case to be managed. She didn't want an employee. She wanted her family. Her unfiltered cries of loneliness had backfired in the most painful way possible. So you must change the script. You must move from reporting a problem to inviting a connection. It's a small shift in language that makes a world of difference. Instead of saying, "No one ever calls," try saying, "I was just sitting here thinking about that time we all went to the Grand Canyon. It made me smile. I'd love to hear what you're up to." Instead of, "I'm so bored all day," try, "I'm trying to figure out this new smartphone so I can see pictures of the grandkids. Could you walk me through it the next time we talk?" You are giving them a specific, positive reason to connect. You are making them feel needed and helpful, not guilty and inadequate. You must stop creating a burden of guilt and start creating opportunities for joy. If you understand the crucial difference between demanding attention and inviting connection, please comment connection below. As we come to a close, let's go back to where we started, with John, the retired history teacher from Pennsylvania. So what happened to him? After our talk, John took a brave step back. He sat his children down and had an honest, loving conversation. He told them, "I love you all so much for caring, but I also need you to trust me. I am still the man who taught you how to ride a bike. I am still the man who helped you with your homework. I've got this." He made a conscious choice. He started sharing his joys, not just his worries. He'd call to talk about a fascinating documentary he watched, or a new bird he saw in his backyard. And a funny thing happened. The worried, frantic check-in calls from his children stopped. They were replaced by relaxed, genuine conversations. Today, their relationship is stronger than ever, built on a foundation of mutual respect, not fear. He preserved his cherished role as the wise patriarch, not the needy patient. John's story is the heart of our lesson today. The goal, my friends, is never to build walls between you and your family. It's to build the right fences. Good fences. Fences that protect your dignity. Fences that protect their peace of mind. And fences that protect the loving respect you have spent an entire lifetime earning. It all comes down to this. It's about sharing your wisdom, not your worries. Your strength, not every single struggle. We've explored 5 critical secrets that can truly transform our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video today? It could be something simple. Maybe it's, I will wait for a doctor's diagnosis before I call my daughter. Or perhaps, I will call my best friend to vent instead of my son. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. Writing it down is the first powerful step toward making it real. Let's inspire each other to take that step. And if you found real value and inspiration in our time together, show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps me know that our conversations are making a difference. To ensure you continue on this journey with us, and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of like-minded friends, all dedicated to living our best lives together. Finally, think of one person in your life who needs to hear this message today. A friend, a sibling, a neighbor. Please, share it with them. You might just be giving them the gift of peace and respect. You never know whose family you might be helping. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. Take good care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you in the next video.